2025 was a great year for gaming. Expedition 33 rose high above any and all expectations to become the most awarded game of all time. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 delivered one of the best immersive sim RPGs we've played in forever, alongside a uniquely impressive realization of the Middle Ages. We had a few delicious bowls of roguelite slop in Blueprints, Ball Pit, Elden Ring Night Rain, Hades, and the Silksong subreddit gave us a whopping few days of blissful silence while they put aside all worldly responsibilities to play it. Still, this doesn't do it justice. We ate good. But if I'm sensible in my excitement, the best could be yet to come. In spite of all the controversy, real or manufactured in our favorite industry, things are looking up. If greedy shareholders and tone-deaf executives can get all the way off our backs,
get off my back. Oh, okay, let me get off of that thing real quick.
Then 2026 might be an even better year. And for those who didn't read the title, this is a Waffle's Top 10 Most Anticipated Games of 2026. 007 First Light is, much like the next game I'll talk about, a title I'm not necessarily excited for, but I absolutely recognize the potential. That's why it's on this list. I've enjoyed Hitman since a 9 or 10-year-old me managed to sneak Absolution past my parents. I went back and played a little bit of Blood Money, but the highlight of the series was the immersive sim-esque sandbox-style reboot. They couldn't ever be the type of game that'd blow your mind and have you shouting its name from the rooftops, but if fun was the sole qualifier for what makes a great game, they'd be some of the best. Hitman was always a darker spin on classic spy tropes, so it's no surprise IO Interactive would jump at the chance to realize the true potential of a household name like James Bond. The possibilities are endless, and I'm really hoping they know what they have. I was evidently a little young for Onimusha, so I don't have a real relationship with the franchise, but the collective cheer as it was reignited nearly 2 decades later piqued my interest. Onimusha is a hack and slash, not a Souls-like. On that note, it seems to be taking modern gaming sensibilities to heart in promising a more methodical and deliberate combat system, as opposed to something anyone with 2 thumbs can button mash through. I'm tentative on the whole narrative side of things. The English voice acting is questionable, but it looks like the kind of game we play for the gameplay more than anything else. Combat looks flashy and dramatic, but there's a lot of room to keep it grounded. The motion capture is easily top of the line. As I said before, this isn't the kind of game I'm excited for, but I'll be damned if I don't see how great this one could be. Zero Parades for Dead Spies is both an easy and unfortunately very difficult title to get excited for. You see, it's easy because Disco Elysium is one of the best games I've ever played. It is a work of the most talented writers and artists out there. Though it's hard because there might not be so many of those talented writers left on the team. Aesthetically, the identity is all there. These artists have put skin and bone into what I've seen. I'm sure the voice acting will be just as fantastic, and it looks like it'll play similar, which is to say great. But Disco Elysium was special for the darkly funny satire it was, the intriguing mystery layered with social commentary equally inflammatory to anyone who thought they might be shielded from it. I wish the best for those filling the boots of the old team. I can't blame them for the alleged unethical restructuring that kneecapped everyone's excitement, but if they can't match up, it just won't be the same. I guess I'm still holding on to a little shred of hope somehow. I'm not even quite sure why I'm so pumped up for a LEGO game. I played them when I was a kid, but even then I preferred having slurs flung at me in an MW3 lobby. But having watched the reveal of LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight at Summer Games Fest last year, and minute by minute falling in love with what I saw, I am. There's a clear inspiration from Rocksteady's Arkham franchise in the combat, the stealth, and it looks seamlessly integrated into a sillier format. A sillier format with bucket loads of potential for interesting platforming, novel mini-games, and all that often comes with a more light-hearted title like this one. Now, it's a shame and a little dated, I think, for it to be couch co-op only, but these days we're lucky it's co-op at all. I'm not expecting it to change my life, but if it's good old fun like Astrobot was good old fun, then I'm all in. Crimson Desert blew us all away with the most batshit insane gameplay, appealing to any and all they could. A medieval fantasy game with explosive combat, dragons, and mechs? None of it really made any fucking sense, but it looked amazing. Then that's all we saw. And for the most part, that is still all we've seen. As awesome as it looks, there's a deeper aspect missing from its marketing campaign. Will there be a story to contextualize how our protagonist knows what an RKO is? Does the lack of a character creator mean this protagonist will be anything to write home about? All this talk about how big the open world is worries me. I don't care that it's bigger than Red Dead Redemption 2. I definitely care if they said it was more alive than Red Dead Redemption 2. That counts for something more than what could be an empty backdrop for a hollow video game. I wanted more to show me that this isn't just a tech demo for some admittedly fantastic looking gameplay. Anyhow, it's 6th on this list because I'm gonna play it anyway. Just out of like pure respect for whatever psilocybin addled shrimp fried this fucking rice. My first real Resident Evil game was the 7th one, Resident Evil Biohazard. I know, that's a great game, but does it really represent the series as a whole? Of course not. Luckily, my second was the Resident Evil 2 remake, and that's what hooked me. The Resident Evil 4 remake is what made me a fan. I get that they're not perfect representations of the originals, but I'm really glad to have experienced them. Resident Evil Requiem is looking like sort of a return to form for Capcom, taking all that they learned from their venture into a darker, intimate game style and intelligently combining it with the gamey, puzzle-centric survival horror games you and now I love. Leon is back. Third-person action is back, but we get to keep the desperate, intimate survival that a first-person perspective offers. And it's all up to us, we can pick and choose whenever. When it's done well, having two characters with different playstyles can really riff off of each other and diversify gameplay. The way the gun shakes in Grace's hand tells me they know just as well as I do. I'll always be down for a game like this, but I'm especially ready to go down on, I'm especially down for some more Leon. Okay, next. Now, Slay the Spire is the progenitor, the forefather of all the imitation roguelites and deck builders you know and love, or know and hate. Whatever your disposition, you cannot deny its quality and its influence. The promise of a sequel, not necessarily to innovate, but to refine the formula, to refine its aesthetic and help it realize its potential, has me salivating. There are animations for attacks and abilities now, a tightened art style, new characters, relics, cards, and apparently new ways to play that haven't been revealed. I'm usually pretty tentative on early access releases, especially when it's a sequel to a game that had already stumbled into such wild success. I feel like if you have the funding and experience to deliver a finished product on release, you should, and that early access is a way for developers to learn and refine as they build a skill set and a budget. But community feedback is what made Slay the Spire the giant it is today, and if they continue that trend, we have nothing to worry about. Phantom Blade Zero's original gameplay trailer was certainly a choice. It took me a long while to believe this game was anything more than an empty promise because of it. It was cute and fun to watch, but so obviously not representative of anything truly playable. Fortunately, every iteration improved on that front, and eventually it looked too hard to fake. So I'll try not to jinx us. This game takes inspiration from Souls-likes, but the director is pretty firm in saying that it isn't one, nor is it a traditional action game. Rather, it's a blend of the two genres. Intelligent, interconnected level design, a familiar checkpoint system, but a fast-paced hack-and-slash combat system. I'm particularly interested in the hardcore difficulty that promises a PvP-like experience. Time will tell if this makes the enemies act like a human would in a fair and intelligent way, or if it turns them into backstab farming meta slaves. I don't know which would be more accurate. I hope the game feels deliberate, and that the combat is player driven. Button mashing should be counted out the damn gate. You know, I guess I have my concerns, but because they are far less than what they used to be, I'm okay getting my hopes up, and my hopes are up, up, and away. Holy shit. This game looks ridiculous. In a good way. The most beautiful art style I've ever seen. This realistically lit pixel art vision is just addicting to look at. Alternate 1980s America, yes please. Dark cyberpunk thriller, fuck off mate. In a good way. Cinematic exploration blended with fluid free flow action. I can't really conceptualize that until I've played it, but yeah, let's do it. Retrofuturism in any form is my favorite aesthetic for anything to have. That coupled with moody, synth-driven ambience is deadly. Could this be the Blade Runner game we always deserved? I mean, you play an AI trapped in a human body, grappling with new perspectives and dangerous conspiracies. I guess its description is not very unique, but its presentation is undeniable. I have some reservations. We haven't seen enough of the combat to know whether it is as claimed. It's visually impressive, no doubt, and gun fu is surprisingly rare in gaming, but something about it seems restrictive. I guess we'll see. I mean, I'm just blindly excited for this thing. I drool every time I catch a glimpse from it. I'll delete my channel if it's bad. I'm kidding. I'll send the developers a really very, very angry email. Am I a shameless consumer for this? Probably, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is an all-timer game for me, and I haven't seen anything to suggest Rockstar won't deliver another one for the Hall of Fame. GTA 5 was a great game, but in retrospect it lacked much of what Red Dead 2 remedied in its commitment to a living and breathing open world. The world that made it the most immersive sim-like AAA open world game, and it still is, despite the contrast of its outdated and restrictive mission design. Grand Theft Auto 6 should take that next step forward for Rockstar and mix a satirical take on America that people will somehow call apolitical with that added maturity in its narrative and immersion in its design philosophy. By all means, this should be a magnum opus. GTA 5 was still a gamey game. Red Dead 2 couldn't shake off all of that gaminess, if you know what I mean, but this next one can. It's kinda too big to fail, but that's not to say it won't fall short of such overwhelmingly intense expectations. I consciously temper my personal anticipation, but as you can see, it's up there in spite of my efforts. I can only hope it lives up to just half of the fantasy we've dreamed up and that it actually releases this year. Hey, if you're still with me, I'm James. There are a shitload of games I'm looking forward to that didn't quite make the cut. Like Reanimal, John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, Pragmata, Control Resonant, Game of Thrones, War for Westeros, Resonance, A Plague Tale Legacy, Star Wars, Galactic Racer, Marvel's Wolverine, Saros, The Blood of Dawnwalker. I'd be here for hours if I listed them all. I know it's likely that like a third of these games will actually be good, but even that gets me excited for this year. So if you happen to enjoy the video, please consider dropping a sub. I promise I am in it for the long run, and I'm super curious to see what my top 10 of 2026 will end up looking like, and I'd be happy to see you there. Thanks!